Hi everyone, and welcome to day 22 of the July Colouring Challenge. I'm still playing catch up, so thank you to everyone for bearing with me while I get to where we need to be. So today we have a seashell to colour, and we've already coloured a seashell over here in day 15, so I thought I'd try and make this one a little bit more interesting, maybe add a bit of a special effect to this. So I was having a look at seashells, and I think that this type of shell is called a shark eye seashell, which I've never heard of before. And they're all quite bland looking really and not very interesting to look at. So I thought we'd try and do a bit of a special effect on this. I came across this opalescent mother of pearl ceramic seashell, which obviously isn't a real seashell, but quite often shells do have this pearlescent look on the underneath of them. So we're not completely in the realms of fantasy with what we're going to do today. But I remembered that I did a tutorial 3 years ago apparently on iridescent scales, and I thought that's kind of a similar sort of technique that we're going to be needing, and similar colours as well, to get this kind of effect. So I've pulled out those colours that I used on the original tutorial, and I thought that we would use this as a bit of a reference image and try and emulate it. So I'm going to pop that over there and I can keep that to hand to have a look at. Now the colours that I've got out, they are Prismacolors, but they are all really nice, bright, vibrant colours, and I think they will lend themselves to that opalescence that we're looking for, and hopefully it will turn out as well as the tutorial did. So I've got a black and a white here. They are luminance, but it's because I can't find a black or a white Prismacolor. And then I have, from the Prismacolors, cream, pink, true green, yellow chartreuse, light aqua, this is violet, and I think this is grass green. Yep. So those are the colours that we're using, and I think we'll just get started. So I'm going to put my darker colour in first. I've got some violet here, and again just keeping a look at the reference image. I don't know whether I can have that on camera at the same time, it might get in my way. I'll just keep it over here. You know what it looks like. So I'm just going to put in bits really. It doesn't have to be exact or looking like anything that exists in real life, so that's one good thing. We don't have to stick to any particular pattern or source material. We can just literally use that as our reference, and that's it. So I'm just going to really just put bits of colour everywhere. I just want it to look quite natural. I don't want there to be really any harsh lines or corners. I'm just going to follow the shape of the seashell for some of it, and then on others I'll just put it wherever I want. So if you're colouring along with me, you do exactly the pattern and the placement that you want to do. I am going to try and get as many of these colours in as I can. Luckily this shell is bigger than the box that we have to usually work with, so I think we'll be able to fit the majority of these colours on. So I'm going to work through this, but there's nothing really that I can talk you through because it's sort of me just off the cuff deciding where the colours are going to go. It's not a tutorial, so just follow along with the colours if you want to, but put them absolutely anywhere you want. That's some violet for now. I'm just going to move through the colours really. Let's put a bit of light aqua on. So at the moment I'm only doing a lightish layer because I'm just working on placement. And we don't have to do every single bit of violet with a light aqua around it. We can just do some of them. And then on the other bits we can use the true green or the yellow chartreuse. So I hope that everyone's been well. I'm slowly catching up on this, like I say. And obviously real life gets in the way quite a lot. So once again, thank you for sticking around. And the comments that I'm getting are that people are really enjoying this, which, you know, to be honest, I didn't know if that would be the case, because clearly the images that we're colouring are very simplistic, very childlike. There's, you know, they're not what you would call adult colouring images. So I didn't really know how this would go down, but I just wanted to do something fun and completely pressure free. So I'm glad that a lot of you are enjoying it. So that's a bit of true green. Let's get some yellow chartreuse in there as well in certain areas. Again, just don't worry too much about blending at the minute. It's just placement. Get some pink on there. And finally, oh, I've forgotten the grass green, but we do have cream to put on, which I'm just going to fill up the little white spaces with. Yes, we've got the grass green. So I can always come in after and probably deepen up some of these green areas if I want to. But at the moment, we've just got the placement down. So that's kind of the look that I'm going for. Very organic, natural. The lines are just all over the place. It doesn't look, you know, like it's been formulated on purpose. It just looks natural, hopefully. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I must have used the black to deepen the purple shadows when I get to the burnishing stage, and I must have used the white to probably go over the whole lot and give it a milky texture. I'm not sure, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to start again with the exact same order of pencils that I've just done, but this time we're going to be a little bit less cautious with it and a little bit of a harder pressure so that we are starting to flatten the layers out. Now I know I get people telling me off all the time for not doing enough layers with pencil. You're not supposed to use that hard of a pressure, you're supposed to build up the layers and blah blah blah. I don't think supposed to is a word that, or words that that can exist in art, really. You know, I mean, obviously there are techniques that are more ideal to use with certain pencils because of the way that they perform. Like oil-based pencils definitely don't like a heavy hand, but just do what pleases you, you know, do what makes you happy. That's all I can say with art. I mean, it has no place in the world like when you, what am I trying to say? Like, you know, everyone needs to eat, everyone needs to sleep, everyone needs warmth and shelter and blah, blah, blah. And really art it's not a necessity to live. For some people, you know, they would class it as that because it brings them out of depression and things like that. But it's not one of the basic sort of needs of life. So really we are doing it for pleasure. That's why we do art. It's not because it's needed. So I don't agree with shoulds and should nots. It's something that we do because it makes us happy, and nobody can quantify or define what makes another person happy. You know, that's completely an individual thing. So just do what you want to do. Do what you want to do with art. I've been watching a lovely lady's videos. Do you know what? I can't remember her channel name. Let's see. Oh, I've got it here. It's Paint Crush. Paint Crush with Kirsty Rice. That's her right underneath. Oh, it won't go on because I've got it on airplane mode. But yeah, that's her name, Paint Crush. And she has such a good outlook on the whole, you know, art for pleasure and just doing what makes you happy. And I really would recommend watching a couple of her videos because she just makes you feel good, you know. She makes you feel like whatever you do, even if you mess up, so to speak, it's all good. It's all experience. And she was saying in one of her videos that she used to teach, I think, watercolour to people. And she started off teaching the kids. I think they did like a thing where kids would go in first and then the adults would come in later for like the proper teaching or whatever. And she said the kids just got straight in there They wanted to just feel everything and get it on the page, you know, whether that was with their fingers or brushes or, you know, there were so much joy. And then as soon as the adults came in, it was all, well, how do I do this exactly? Where do I place this colour? How do I use this brush? Techniques, you know, and it was so very rigid. And she said that the kids' artwork actually came out so much more interesting and vibrant, and they did so much better basically than a lot of the adults did, because they forgot how to just play. And it's through playing with mediums and materials that you learn things that will then help you to up-level your skills. So, you know, it's not a not worthwhile thing to play with your materials and get things wrong and, you know, use your fingers to paint instead of a brush. Actually feel the material on your fingers, you know, put water on the paper, put the material on it, and then see how it reacts, see how it starbursts, or, you know, if it breaks the paper, or, you know, you need to do these things in order to know properly how you want to use them and what can be achieved with them. So yeah, she's really, really cool. She's uplifting, and I've enjoyed watching her videos, and I really want to get into doing a bit of watercolour now, because it's always been quite a scary medium, watercolour. And I think a lot of people feel that way because it just acts very... I think it's quite difficult to get it to do what you want and to know how to get it to do what you want unless you've had a lot of sort of practice with the medium. And even then, it's alive on the page, as Kirsty says. It does what it wants to do. You can't always predict. So I want to do that. I want to try the watercolours, and I am going to get them out, get myself a watercolour piece of paper and just mess about with them. You know, not worry about, oh gosh, that looks terrible or whatever, you know. She says that you must compliment yourself while you're doing your art. It's really, really important to, at the point where you would usually go, ugh, that's terrible, to find something, anything about it that you like about it, whether that's the way a certain part of the paint, a certain area of the paint has spread and bloomed on the page, or whatever it is. You've got to find something about it that you like, and you've got to compliment yourself that you've achieved that. And I suppose it's difficult for someone like me who's got very low self-esteem and feels like an imposter. I've mentioned this already on this series. Feels like an imposter. Always have done, especially with this channel. You know, like I said before, I've been doing it for years, but I still feel like I've got no right to be telling you how to do things. You know, and I still feel as if I've still got that devil on my shoulder, or that voice in my head that says, gosh, you know, you're not that good. Why are you pretending to be something that you're not? And blah, blah, blah. You know, all the sort of horrible internal monologue that some people have. I get that all the time. And I wouldn't want anyone to think that that doesn't happen to me, because it does. It happens all the time. And it's just trying to learn to overcome that and be kinder to yourself. You know, I got a whole tattoo on my arm that says, be kind to yourself, literally inked into my skin, because it's something that I need to remind myself of so often. And yeah, I've gone off on a massive tangent, haven't I? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you've had to listen to that bit of a soapbox thing. But yeah, I really do want to try and give myself a break a little bit more. Learn some new stuff, not be constantly worried about whether it's good enough or better or as good as other people's. You know, but I am a perfectionist. You've seen it, you know, in this series, even when I keep trying to add to things, and it's never right, and it needs more and things like that. So yeah, it's something that I'm working on, and I probably will be working on it forever. But yeah. So yeah, I've just been adding colours here and there. Hopefully it's been making sense to you what I've been doing, and just layering over and making those colours a little bit more burnished and vibrant. pressing way too hard then. I want somebody else telling me off for doing that. Right. So I'm just using the cream to blend out that pink a little bit, so it's not so sort of harsh on the page. It looks a little bit harsh. But there are some areas that are muddy where I've probably used colours that shouldn't, you see, there I go again, shouldn't really go next to each other because it's going to make it muddy. But again, so what? You know, we're not colouring or making art for the Queen. Do you know what I mean? It's something that I'm doing in my living room, and it just so happens that I'm filming it because some people have told me that they like to watch it. So, you know, I just worry too much, and there's probably, you know, people that are watching this that don't feel like that, and that's absolutely fine. That's brilliant, actually, that if you can not feel like that, that's great. If you're, you know, really comfortable in getting things wrong, messing around, you know, so if you don't relate to that, then that's absolutely fine. You know, I can imagine that there's quite a lot of you that are really confident in your skills, and that's brilliant. And it's not a bad thing to be confident in your skills. I think a lot of people, or there's a general vibe really, that it's not good to show confidence. Especially, I think it's a British thing, you know, we're always quite quick to be self-deprecating and not take credit. And that is something that I am definitely guilty of. But yeah, try and find something, even if you think it's all gone wrong and you don't like it, whatever it is you've created, try and find something like Kirsty says. Is it Kirsty or Christy? I've forgotten. Try and find something that you enjoy and like about what you've created. So again, just layering in bits of colour, and there are certain areas that have got a little bit milky and washed away because of other colours on top of them. So I'm just bringing the vibrancy back in. So I think we've got, I mean, I don't know if it looks iridescent. It certainly looks psychedelic. So let's put some white gel pen on it. I got told off for using white gel pen the other day as well. Somebody commented that it didn't, I don't know if they said it ruined it, but they didn't like the fact that I'd used it. So, but you know, there's the side of me that gets comments like that and thinks, oh gosh, they're right, I shouldn't have. Yes, it looks silly, next time. And I'm constantly second guessing myself on what people are going to say, but you cannot go through life like that. You just can't. You have to be yourself and trust that your people will find you, and that is quite difficult sometimes to put into practice. But if anything I do is not something that you do, that's absolutely fine. You know, we're not all the same. We don't have the same preferences and things like that when it comes to art. It's such an individual thing. So you do you and I'll do me, and we'll all be happy together. But luckily, the reason why this channel has been, well, the reason why it's grown and it's been fairly successful is obviously because I'm doing something that people enjoy watching, and that's what kind of keeps me going. When I do get comments and criticisms and trolls, which I do get quite a lot, that's what keeps me going, is just that knowledge that there are a lot of people who do enjoy it. And I've had so many messages, I can't tell you how many messages I've had over the years from people who have said unbelievable things that I still struggle, not to believe, because I believe them 100%, but struggle to accept. And that is that this channel has been there for them when they've lost people in their lives. I've had women who've lost their husbands message me saying that I've got them through grief just watching my videos, and I just straight away I think no, you know, surely not. But there has to come a point where you start to accept what people are saying. And I do struggle with that, but obviously it's doing people, it is doing certain people good to watch these videos and to be artistic and creative, and it does take you out of your reality a little bit, which if your reality is a bit shit, then you need that sometimes, you know. So again, I've just been talking all the way through this and not really looking at what I'm doing. So I probably added a bit too much white gel pen. No surprises there at all. But you know, I love doing sort of fantasy kind of colouring that really probably wouldn't be like that in real life. And because that's the case, that means that I can do whatever I want. And if I want to have a ton of white gel pen on there, then that is what I will do. So yeah, we've come to the end. I just need to put a colour on the background really. And I'm thinking I'm just going to black this out, you know. If in doubt, black it out. That's what I say about your backgrounds. If you don't know what to do with them, just put black on them. And I think that's going to really make the image pop. I don't think we need anything more than that, to be honest. Now, I did get the white and the black out, but obviously I've not used the white. If you wanted to create more of a milky, subtle look, you could add a layer of white over your coloured pencil work. But I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to fill all this in. Try not to nudge my white gel pen. And I think we're going to call that a day. So really hope you enjoyed this. It's been a rambly one. I've just, you know, I'm conscious of that. So I hope you've enjoyed spending this half hour with me, and I will see you tomorrow on day 23.